Headlines of this hour on VTV News. National Assembly Standing Committee discusses socio-economic situation and future tasks. Next, our in-depth talks with FAO on Vietnam's efforts to ensure food security. In our world news, Israel-Hamas conflict poses risk of escalating regional tension.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is currently 3 p.m. local time and you're tuning in to 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Lilin Lei with the latest updates. Now on Monday morning, Vietnamese State President Võ Văn Thưởng received the chairman of the State Duma of the Russian Federation, Vyacheslav Viktorovich Volodin, who is on an official visit to Vietnam. They are scheduled to co-chair their second meeting of the Inter-Parliamentary Cooperation Committee of the legislative bodies of Vietnam and Russia. State President Võ Văn Thưởng believes that this visit will contribute to further strengthening the good relationship between the two countries' parliaments and deepening the comprehensive strategic partnership between Vietnam and the Russian Federation. The state president also proposed that both sides continue to promote high-level exchanges. He expressed hope for strengthened cooperation in the fields of defense, security, science and technology, education, culture, and people-to-people exchanges. On Monday morning, Prime Minister Phie chaired a conference to meet with the foreign investment business community in Vietnam. This demonstrated the government's determination to assist the FDI sector in overcoming challenges and operating effectively in the face of global economic difficulties. During the conference, Prime Minister Phie expressed gratitude to foreign businesses for choosing to invest in Vietnam and for their commitment to expanding production and business activities. The Prime Minister emphasized that the Vietnamese government is dedicated to safeguarding the legitimate rights and interests of businesses, as well as assisting them in tackling obstacles and challenges in order to foster stable development and maintain long-term partnership with Vietnam. Vietnam also pledges to protect businesses and address any violations to create a healthy, stable, and sustainable business investment environment. On Monday morning, National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ chaired a meeting of the National Assembly Standing Committee to discuss the implementation results and future tasks of the annual socio-economic development plans, as well as the economic restructuring plan for the period of 2021 to 2025. Reports indicate that Vietnam's socio-economic situation continues to recover, with positive results recorded each month, despite the challenges posed by international and domestic circumstances. The National Assembly Standing Committee recommends that the government further enhance legal institutions in all areas and develop specific and effective mechanisms to promote socio-economic development and national target programs. Regarding the socio-economic development plan for 2024, the National Assembly chairman requested the inclusion of additional goals, such as economic restructuring and improved competitive efficiency. He also emphasized the importance of implementing specific policies in approved localities, as mandated by the National Assembly. After decades of overseas investments, state-owned enterprises have generated profits exceeding $2 billion for Vietnam. According to the government's report to the National Assembly, there are over 140 foreign investment projects with a total capital of nearly $12 billion that have been undertaken.
The Vietnam Oil and Gas Group has invested over $4 billion in various projects, resulting in profitable ventures. They have repatriated over $1.1 billion in profits. Notably, their oil and gas exploration project in Russia has generated profits that are more than double the initial investment.
This project has yielded a net profit of $855 million, making it a resounding success for the Vietnam Oil and Gas Group in our foreign investments.
Vietnamese enterprises have investments in 79 countries and territories, with a primary focus on 14 sectors such as telecommunications, mining, and agriculture. These enterprises have repatriated nearly $2 billion in profits back to Vietnam.
Viettel has provided telecommunications services in 10 foreign markets. By September 2023, the cash flow back to Vietnam had reached $250 million, a 21% increase compared to 2022.
The success of state-owned enterprises in operating in foreign markets affirms their capabilities in business, management, vision, and strategies.
Despite the accomplishments, there are still concerns about the existing limitations on foreign investments by Vietnamese enterprises.
Collaboration among Vietnamese enterprises in the same investment area is currently not strong enough. Therefore, there is a need to establish stronger connections in order to share information about new situations or challenges and collectively address them.
Vietnam currently has 1,665 active foreign investment projects, with a total investment capital of over $22 billion. State-owned enterprises contribute more than 53% of the capital.
In September, Bắc Ninh surpassed Ho Chi Minh City to become the locality with the largest export turnover in Vietnam. Bắc Ning's export turnover reached $4.2 billion, while Ho Chi Minh City's was $3.4 billion. Additionally, 9 other localities in Vietnam recorded an export turnover of over $1 billion in September. The top 5 localities were Bắc Ninh, Ho Chi Minh City, Bắc Giang, Hải Phòng, and Bình Dương. After 9 months, Vietnam's total export turnover reached over $258 billion. The export value of wood and wood products in the first 9 months is estimated to have reached $9.7 billion, down 21.3% compared to the same period last year. However, there are gradual signs of recovery in the industry for the remaining months of the year, accompanied by new changes in market demands, such as the implementation of new green standards. As such, while waiting for the market to recover, businesses are actively seeking green measures to meet the new export requirements.
Vietnamese businesses are transitioning their supply chains to become more environmentally friendly by leveraging their existing advantages. For example, in the wood and wood products industry, enterprises can expedite the conversion process by utilizing sustainable forest certificates that they already possess.
We must meet the requirements for chemical and product life cycle indicators, specifically regarding wood origin and legality.
Businesses have switched to water-based paint instead of oil-based paint for more environmentally friendly products. They also use non-toxic paint for children's products.
According to businesses in the wood industry, adopting green supply chains has helped them achieve a quarterly increase of 7% in export orders. It is expected that the industry's export value will reach $14 billion this year.
The association is working with the Ministry of Agriculture to help businesses prepare for emission reductions. Businesses are also cooperating with other associations and organizations to seek benefits from the carbon credit market.
In the face of a global economic downturn, adopting green production lines that leverage existing advantages can help enterprises, particularly export businesses, seize emerging opportunities and contribute to the rapid and sustainable growth of the country.
Today, October the 16th, is World Food Day. This year's theme focuses on the role of water in life, aiming to raise awareness about the importance of water resources for food security, health, and peace. Our reporter conducted an interview with Mr. Remy Nono Womdim, Chief Representative of the World of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations in Vietnam, to gain a deeper understanding of the significance of water and Vietnam's efforts in ensuring food security.
Thank you for joining the interview with VTV. Vietnam is one of the largest rice exporters in the world. In addition, it also ensures domestic food security. So how do you evaluate the efforts of Vietnam?
Vietnam is indeed a global and regional leader on agri-food systems. As you know, Vietnam is the lead cashew nut exporter to global markets, second to Brazil for coffee, and third, rice after India and then Thailand. So this is a very remarkable achievement. Yet, indeed, there are some other challenges. It's good that Vietnam so far can do very well in terms of agri-food production.
The world is still facing food security risks, and challenges of Vietnam are still there. So what coordination projects does FAO have with Vietnam in order to overcome these challenges?
Vietnam and FAO has been cooperating since 1978. So this year also marked the 45th anniversary of Vietnam-FAO cooperation. There are many ongoing projects. Our cooperation, to make it very simple, can be articulated around three key pillars. The first pillar is data gathering for insightful and informed decision. The second area of cooperation is policy support, the formulation of policy, the formulation of strategies like the current national strategy for sustainable agriculture and rural development, and then also the formulation of projects and programs. And then the third area of cooperation is financing.
So once again, thank you for joining our interview.
Before moving on, let's have a look at the exchange rate between the Vietnam dong and some world currencies in today's trading session. Coming up next on VTV News. Free meals offered to people in flooded areas of central Vietnam. And later on, Hanoi improves placement in world's best tourist city ranking. Moving on to other important updates, landslides in hilly regions are a constant concern for residents of the north-central areas, especially during the rainy season. Local authorities are implementing measures to minimize the impact on human lives and property. However, challenges persist, as evident in Quang Binh province.
In Tuyên Hóa district, there are multiple areas experiencing severe landslides due to continuous rainfall. The widening cracks in the mountains pose threats to both property and lives.
I've been here for 40 to 50 years. In the past 2 to 3 years, landslides have become more frequent. In 2020, they came dangerously close to people's homes and caused a lot of fear.
The commune is assessing relocation plans. In case of an emergency, local forces and resources will be called upon to execute the plan.
Tuyên Hóa district currently has 8 areas prone to landslides, putting over 300 residents at risk.
We have assigned the Department of Agriculture to plan the relocation of residents from landslide-prone areas. We have also proposed the establishment of centralized or dispersed resettlement areas to the provincial authorities.
Tuyên Hóa district has constructed 2 resettlement areas and is seeking approval for 3 additional areas from the provincial authorities. However, many households continue to reside on mountainous sides and hillsides, living under the constant threat of landslides.
Heavy rains have started in the northern districts of Quang Ngai province since Sunday night. And although the water level in rivers, lakes and hydroelectric dams in the province is still low, forecasts predict prolonged heavy rains with an expected rainfall of up to 300 millimeters. This can lead to flooding in low-lying areas and landslides in mountainous regions. To prepare for all possible scenarios, Quang Ngai province has requested local authorities closely monitor the weather and promptly inform residents to prevent, respond, and mitigate damages from natural disasters. Additionally, plans should be developed to evacuate people to safe areas. A supervision force should be established to prevent individuals from traveling or working near hazardous areas during periods of heavy rain and floods. Furthermore, authorities must implement measures to protect production and prevent flooding in urban areas and industrial parks. Thousands of households in central Vietnam have been facing difficulties due to flooding. Now, despite the challenging circumstances, acts of kindness, such as providing free meals, have brought warmth to many families. This story takes place in Da Nang, one of the provinces that has received the most recent warnings for natural disasters.
The floodwaters have receded, and thousands of households in flood-affected areas of Da Nang are now working tirelessly to clean up and restore stability in their lives. It is worth mentioning that free meals are being provided to people in this area when they are unable to cook for themselves.
I had to clean my house after the flood. It's late, nobody is able to cook, and we also don't have a kitchen. However, thanks to the meals provided by local youth representatives, we received soup and porridge, which was very heartwarming.
I've just finished cleaning up. I haven't gotten or bought any food. I am very grateful to the local youth representatives for their support.
In recent days, thousands of free meals have been provided to people affected by the floods at evacuation centers and in flooded areas. The funding for this support largely comes from contributions made by local youth representatives. Dozens of young volunteers have formed smaller groups to assist the residents.
We prepare simple dishes with our hearts. Nearly 30 of us personally go to the market, cook, and provide the safest food to the local people, so they don't have to go outside during this dangerous time.
Electric lights have brought illumination to residential areas. Despite the risk of additional flooding, people are passionately working to restore and clean their homes in order to return to normal life. Acts of kindness serve as their motivation to overcome these challenges.
The Vietnam Summit in Japan, also known as the Vietnam Intellectual Forum 2023, commenced at the University of Tokyo on Sunday. This year's forum has brought together 72 distinguished speakers from both Vietnam and Japan. The event is one of the activities commemorating the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Vietnam and Japan.
This year's forum focuses on strengthening investment cooperation, innovation, sustainable development, technology transfer, and opening up new development opportunities for both Vietnam and Japan. After years of organizing the Vietnam Summit in Japan, it has contributed to expanding the global network of young intellectuals, including scientists from universities, research labs, and specialists from enterprises worldwide.
I have participated in all the forums, starting with the first one in 2019. Every time I come here, I'm able to connect with experts in the field. For me, the Vietnamese Summit in Vietnam offers both theoretical and practical guidance.
Science and technology are rapidly advancing fields. These young Vietnamese intellectuals possess skills not only in traditional fields but also in emerging fields such as IT. Significant capital is required to foster growth in scientific fields. Therefore, our company is actively seeking financial cooperation with Vietnam to promote mutual development in these areas.
The Vietnam-Japan Science, Technology and Trade Exhibition was held for the first time at this year's forum. The exhibition featured 21 booths and showcased Japan's scientific strengths, policies, and cooperative management models for science and technology development that can be applied in Vietnam. Additionally, the exhibition included the second Science and Technology Anthology.
According to a recent report published by Resident Consultancy, a leading tourism advisory firm based in Canada, Hanoi was ranked 96th on a global list of the top 100 tourist cities in the world. This ranking was up by 1 place compared to last year. Hanoi was recognized for its vibrant outdoor and shopping activities, which include traditional markets and high-end shopping services. The city also boasts impressive heritage structures and a lively nightlife. The top 3 cities on this year's list are London, UK, Paris, France, and New York, USA. In addition to Hanoi, Singapore and Bangkok were the other two representatives from Southeast Asia in the top 100. Preserving unique cultural values and natural beauty has always been a focal point of Vietnam's tourism industry. In the Tam Truc tourist area in Hà Nam province, the key tasks for attracting tourists and developing local tourism are the preservation of rare animals and the maintenance of a clean environment.
"10 years ago, the Tam Truc area was a pristine flooded limestone mountain area. Thousands of storks, egrets, and wild birds still inhabit this area, even though it opened to visitors in 2019. Due to the excellent preservation of the natural environment, Tam Truc has become an increasingly popular tourist destination.
It's great to see the storks here. This is a beautiful countryside that evokes a sense of closeness to nature.
The sight of the flock of white storks flying is so beautiful. It reminds me of my cherished childhood memories.
Delacourse langur is an endemic primate species found in Vietnam. It is listed as a threatened species in the Red List. Currently, there are hundreds of Delacourse langur individuals being preserved in Tam Truc.
We have conducted numerous training sessions to raise awareness among our staff. We've also developed plans to ensure that the animals have the most suitable habitat to thrive in Tam Truc.
In the short term, the locality will continue renovating Stork Island Lake to create a favorable habitat for white storks. In the long term, 15 islands are being renovated to attract rare birds. Additionally, Tam Truc is in the process of completing a dossier to submit to UNESCO for recognition as a Natural World Heritage Site.
Coming up next in our world news. Israel-Hamas conflict poses risk of escalating regional tension. Meanwhile, Gaza faces severe lack of essential supplies. Moving on to our world news, Israel is reportedly planning a ground offensive into the Gaza Strip, targeting Hamas forces that have been in control of Gaza since 2007. Many countries are concerned that this potential operation could further escalate the conflict in the Middle East. On Sunday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu convened the country's expanded emergency cabinet for the first time amid speculations about a large-scale military operation in Gaza. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and his Turkish counterpart had a phone call on the same day, emphasizing the immediate need for a ceasefire and a long-term solution to the Palestinian issue. Iranian Foreign Minister also warned of the risk of escalating conflict in the region if Israel continues its military actions against Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. Similarly, the heads of the African Union and the League of Arab States stressed in a joint statement that Israel's operation could result in an unprecedented disaster and urged the international community to take preventive actions before it's too late. More than 1 million people have been forced to evacuate from the northern Gaza Strip since the conflict broke out between Israel and Hamas forces on October 7th. The Gaza Strip is facing severe shortages of electricity, water, and other essential supplies due to Israeli blockade. The lives of thousands of patients in Gaza's hospitals are at risk due to a lack of fuel to operate medical equipment and are expected to last for only about 24 hours. Additionally, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian Refugees in the Near East has warned of an unprecedented humanitarian disaster in Palestinian territory. Although Israel agreed to reopen the water supply to the south on Sunday, the situation remains dire as people have been without food, water, and electricity for the past 8 days. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has called on Israel to stop its aggression in Gaza and provide necessary supplies to protect civilians. He emphasized that the actions and policies of Hamas do not represent the Palestinian people, and the evacuation of Palestinians from Gaza would be the second Nakba disaster for them. Finance Minister Chu Kyung-ho announced on Monday that South Korea will extend the tax cut on fuel consumption until December. This decision comes in response to concerns about rising inflationary pressure, particularly due to the Israel-Hamas conflict potentially causing an increase in oil prices. Currently, the South Korean government applies a 25% discount on gas and 37% discount on diesel consumption through a flexible tax rate policy. Measures to reduce fuel prices have been implemented since November 2021, with the reduction rates and implementation period adjusted 6 times. These efforts are part of the South Korean government's initiative to stabilize prices and improve people's livelihoods by effectively managing energy and food prices. Chum is the second largest and most important festival in Cambodia following Chol-Tnam-Tmay. During the 3 main days of this year's holiday, many people from Phnom Penh will reunite with their families. And in order to ensure the safety and convenience of the people, the Cambodian government has mobilized most buses in the capital city to assist them in returning to their hometowns.
This is one of the many stations that transport people from the capital, Phnom Penh, to their hometowns during the 2023 Chum Festival. The city's authorities have prepared over 450 buses for people to travel to and from their hometowns during this traditional holiday.
I think it's a wonderful idea. For us workers who came from provinces to work in Phnom Penh, we are very happy that there is a free and safe transportation service for us to return home while saving money this Chum holiday.
The Chum ceremony is an opportunity for Cambodians to express respect and gratitude to their deceased relatives and ancestors. During the holiday, people bring food, cakes, and fruits to the temple as offerings, dedicating merit and blessings to the deceased.
Since 2018, to the present, the government has continued to provide free bus services to assist people in returning to their hometowns during the Chum festival. The people are deeply grateful and have faith in the government, particularly in its new term, that it will persist in promoting Cambodia's development and ensuring the happiness of its citizens.
From October 12th to 14th, approximately 40,000 people utilized the free bus service from Phnom Penh to go back home for the holiday. The provision of free bus services will continue for 5 days, ending on October 16th.
Up next is the weather forecast. And that is all that we have for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can visit our website, our YouTube channel, or download a mobile app, VTVgo, for more. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.